I'm just going to take the carburetors off now. I'll put you up there, but I'm probably going to be in the way most of the time, but there's no better way to do it, I think. I'll show you what's going on. I had a feeling that this hose might be tight. Looks like it's been pried a couple of times. It's going to be dry, stiff and horrible. Yeah, kind of like me. Oh, crack. I'm just sort of gripping it, I'm not squeezing it too much, just want it to move a little bit. Watch me stab myself on the live camera. Oh yeah. That is one dried up piece of hose. That's definitely going, that is. I can see it's all cracked. It's as stiff as a board. That's not good. Wants to get back where it lived. Go away. Yeah, it's interesting little rubber pipe here. That's great. Carburetors, clamps. Rather than fight around them, I'm just going to take these breathers off now. I'm going to try and do it without breaking the T-pieces. Oh, they're rubber. That's interesting. I must have learnt with the older bikes where they're all plastic and all the plastic broke. So that's one. This one's half off already, so that's charming. Two. What have we got here? A little coolant line. Another little coolant line. I'll show you something in a minute. Yeah, we got a little. Yeah, we got a little coolant line. So they must have a coolant line going through the carburetors to warm them up. That's yet another European thing that we don't need here, but they must have kept it necessary to help warm up, and it would have been slightly anti-pollution as well. Anti-pollution gear is, the quicker it warms up, the less the choke has to be on. So they introduced a coolant or a heating element that goes through the carburetors, or it might just go near them to keep the throttle, get the throats a little bit warmer. Might have more to do with this rubber flap than we think, but it's just a way of doing it. So what we're going to have to do first is drop the coolant, which we're going to do anyway, but I was just going to do it last. Or not. Trying to keep a full fed out of it. They're Allen key clamps. Being very responsive at the moment. Oh, this one's loose. That would have been a nice air leak. Loose. Another nice air leak. Two center ones are loose. Looks like we only did the outside ones up last time we had it out. There's the two outer ones were tight. Oh, kept them in there, I suppose. Not stop the air leaks getting into the centre too. So when I sprayed WD on it, got these three, but it didn't get that last one. The one over there. I must have done it from that side and never got it to spray down there. So the thread on this little Allen key is a bit corroded and doesn't want to screw as nicely as the other ones. It's still turning. As much as it wants to turn, it still seems fairly solid. This is a idle speed adjustment. Goes with the carburetors. When I say with, it'll come out with them. Now the throttle cables are not part of it. Two throttle cables, and there will be a choke cable as well. Now I've seen a video of someone taking this apart, one of these apart, and it was a freaking disaster because they had all the bike apart up to the choke and they had all this apart. He's trying to pull it out this way. Now there must be a way of doing it fairly simply through this side. I can't get to these coolant lines until I pop them off. I pop them off and I'll pop them off both sides, and I might just plug them or just let it drip out. It's not going to hurt anything. I can't see that choke cable at the moment. Oh yes I can, you can see it down there. I can't see why it was such a disaster. But anyway, I'll grab an open 10mm. Correct. Release the lock nut. This is pretty standard. Back off that adjustment. the light so I can see. Take the adjustment off. It pops out. That's the pull side. I'm just going to pop that nut right off the end because it doesn't. Well, there it is. Pull side. Same with the other side. The other cable. 10mm on top. Wind it all the way off. That's the return. And I can get my thumb onto the lock nut. And that comes off as well. So now it's the people, the spot, place, the thing that no one likes doing is the unhooking of. Just going to pull that throttle open. It's actually opened. Just pull one cable tight, one cable loose. And I'm going to put my screwdriver in where it can't close. Just like that. I'm going to relax that cable and pop it out. I don't know what is so hard about doing that. It takes a little bit of fortitude. The other one I reckon might be done easier if it comes up. That's one out. There we go. Let's just put that somewhere where we don't want it to be. I don't think there's anything else holding them in. Give it a little bit of a gentle pull up. Seems to be solid, even though those clamps are tight. Popped up. Just hadn't been off in a while. So, I was toying with the reasoning that these haven't been out before, but I found that they have. Because the choke cable screw is a little bit mangled. Oh, that was tight. But choke cable, I don't get it. I don't understand what's so fucking hard about that. It just makes me miffed. I just can't understand why. I think this other cable is harder. And it's a matter of just getting a nice loop on it, bringing it down and unhooking it. That's it, done. It's out. Now, the thing that's interesting is that two of them have come up with this. Remember, two are loose and two are tight. Now, I tightened the bottom ones. I didn't undo these clamps on the top. And you cannot get to these clamps on the top here from anywhere. So I don't know why they're there, but it's tight. And that was tight. Yeah, so we got two loose, two tight, and yet they have not stuck around the carburetors enough. Maybe the rubbers are gone, maybe not. Intake rubber is one thing that I will do. I always do intake rubbers because I'd hate to have all the engine working absolutely perfectly fine and having a intake air leak. So, you know, you can't expect this old rubber, and you know, if you have a look at this rubber, this is the one you can see pretty well. It is chocker absolute block solid. It is rock solid. It does not want to forgive at all. Therefore, that will give you an air leak. An air leak will give you a lean mixture. Lean mixtures will give you poor running. Those are no good. I'm going to have to replace those. I would do on pretty much everything that I do anyway. No good doing all this, getting it to a point where you're trying to get it to run right and you've got this rubber that's down in the engine that's leaking. It's sucking air. So it's going to suck air, it's going to run poor. Anyway, another interesting thing, I might bring you a bit closer for this. I'll put you on the gimbal. I just swapped over the gimbal so I could show you something. When I took the carburetors off, I noticed like two things. There's a slight purple stain around here. Doesn't seem to be consistent with anything else. And a little bit down here. Now the purple stain looks like it was leaking fuel at one stage. So I'm guessing that's why the carburetors were taken out last time. I think if I can get the shot to go right down into the throat of the intake, and you can actually see three little piggies down there. 5 valve per cylinder, 3 intake. There they are. Three intake, 2 outlet. Nice and clean. Everything's nice and clean in there. Just off camera, I just changed the oil. I just left the oil filter off for the time being. I took it off because it's absolutely spotless. Dropped the coolant as well, and the coolant, perfect green. It's been well looked after, this thing. Plenty of oil in the oil filter, and quite a bit dropped out when it came off, which also means that it was keeping the galleries full as far as I can see. I'm just going to drain this a little bit. Out of here. And I'm just going to spin it back on because I haven't got a filter yet. Just nip it. Just took the coolant out of here, bottom radiator hose. It's not the lowest place, but there doesn't seem to be a drain anywhere for the others. The lowest places will be in the oil cooler. That's fine, it's taken it away from our main goal, which is getting the coolant lines off the carburetors, one on either side, and the pipe goes through each carburetor up the top there. So are those O-rings okay? We don't know. We'll have a look. And the pipe goes back down to the thermostat housing. But I wanted to show you this. Now, that is rodent damage. 100% that has been eaten. Nothing else has, just that one little pipe, one little coolant pipe, which would give you a very bad day on a ride, which is why we look at these things. So I don't know what's attacked it, but I don't know why they attacked it. Maybe it was yummy. Looks like another little bit of shielding on a electrical line down there, and it's been eaten as well. And yeah, that would cause the coolant leak. Under pressure, drop your coolant in no time. If you didn't catch it on the temperature gauge, then you would be cooking it. So this is why we look at these things. Remove these coolant hoses now. The end of that is a bit rusted, but the barb's still pretty much okay. It's got a smaller outlet than an inlet, just to try and keep the temperature in there maybe. Well, it's got a throttle position sensor, probably for the X up. And that is amputated. So we know we need coolant lines. I'm going to do all the coolant rubbers. Still got an engine to lose. Just for that, they're just vent pipes. No great stress over those. We need a vent pipe for the airbox. No great stress over that. We're just going to amputate the fuel pump. So I've got some more red damage. They must have loved this hose. Look at that. It's old. Somewhere where it was kept, they come up and they love that. Well and truly ate into that. Lovely. Looks like it's got a little water filter here. I'll have to check up on that, see what it is. Looks like a water or a coolant filter. I wonder if it's replaceable or if it's just a clean out thing. It goes down onto the chain tensioner down there, it looks like. Let me get this fuel pump filter out. Obviously replacing the fuel filter. Some sort of relay there. Guessing it's a fuel pump relay. Pushed into the rubber. It can stay there. This can come out, and there's a connector there. Although the plastic on the outside, the protector, looks a little bit rough, it looks okay. We know we need to replace this hose. That's the pressure side. And everything else looks pretty, it's pretty hard. It's all genuine, so we'll see if we've got some fuel hose for those, and we'll replace a filter at a later date because I've got one coming. I'll just put that aside, it can stay there. Anything else in there? What I do want to do is get these intake runners off, because underneath these intake runners are O-rings, and that's the only thing that seals the intake runner from oh dear. Yeah, that's tight. Guarantee they've never been off before. So what's the state of that? Those O-rings. Oh, crack. Which is another vacuum leak point. Oh dear, that is so freaking tight. They have never been off. Nothing worse than having a bike that you've just spent all the money on, tuning it, time, effort to get it right, and then find out, a little bit of spray of petrol, you can find out that it's got a vacuum leak and you have to pull it all down. Like that. Yeah. O-ring's nice and proud actually. It doesn't look like it's been leaking. You can actually see. I'll bring it up. You can actually see around here where it's starting to etch in. And it gets underneath that seal, it'll suck air and it'll destroy your idle just around the outside. So it's dirty, and if it's dirty that means it's been pulling in. Right? They didn't design them to last for 20-30 years. They designed them to get them through the warranty period, just remember that. Now I'm going to pull that The O-ring's still supple, but haters are going to hate. There is no reason to change those O-rings, but there is a reason to seal it. So what I'll be doing is I'll be cleaning the surfaces, putting the O-ring back on, and then putting some gasket sealer on it, and then putting them back down. And if you don't like that, too bad. The vacuum line off it is for tuning, for balancing. So all these are for balancing. There's two on the other side, inner and outer. Pull the plug out, plug the thing in, balance it, balance the carburetors, take them off, walk away. Nice and easy addition to it. Because it would be impossible to get in there with the air cleaner on and the carburetors in there. It's impossible to get it in there. So yeah, that's a nice little addition. I like that. Try and get these other ones off because that was tight as AF. I will Allen key. Short work. Obviously, we're not dropping anything down the cylinder. If we are, we're going to recover it. So, work around it. When these are off, I'll plug them up. These are tight. I think the water manifold is going to come off with this as well, and of course we don't have one that wants to come off. Excellent. There's always one. Same deal with that, starting to suck in, you know, I can just feel the grit on it as well, just a little bit. Although the O-ring's still nice and proud and it looks a little bit supple, that is definitely starting to leak in. So it was actually leaking to there and then stopping from coming in on the inside. Looks like the inside may have had a little bit, but 3-bond will stop that. Yeah, what am I going to do with this last one? Just turn it, and I bet the only thing we're going to be able to do is drill it. Can't get a angle on it. It's not in enough. Before I strip it completely, I'm going to heat it. Give it a doink with the knock on it. See Oh, that was so tight, but it has come out. When in doubt, hit it. Doesn't want to give up right to the last mil. Yeah, that was so friggin' tight. Wonderful. Can't get it out without taking off the coolant manifold there. And of course every hose you take off has to leak its own coolant. Let's have a look at these two. So the inner ring is still clean, but it's just come up to the outer like the others. May have been a little bit of crossover right there. Right here. Might have been a little bit of crossover by the looks of it. Where's this one? Just a little bit around here. Just not worth the drama. Yeah, everything's falling off. Kid socks. Hose is crap. It's cracked. It's hard. And it does not want to come off it. Just in that one little spot. And of course it has to leak its own coolant. Oh, that's interesting. Everything else is green, and that is coming out mud. Look at that. That is coming out mud. So that must be some sort of filter or restrictor or something like that. I'll look into it. We'll find out. It might be blocked, therefore the probably coolant wasn't going through. You can blow through it. Yummy. And yeah, the rats sure did like that hose. Lovely. Thanks for that. Those are definitely a replacement. As good as this was, as good as it is, it's still, you still need to do stuff. You still need to do the little bits and pieces that will get you through that day. Whereas you don't want anyone to have a drama when you're going for a ride. Least of all you. But you know you've done everything you can to try and prevent it. Then, and it still happens, well, I mean, it's a mechanical object, so something's going to happen, but I don't need to take that off. That's as far as I need to go there. I'll think about putting a thermostat in it. It's kind of old enough to have a thermostat in it here. I'll find out what one's worth. It's easy, 2 little 8 mils while I've got it off. Hopeless finding out later, and we'll pull all the carburetors off and everything again to get to it. So it might be worth us doing that. And I mean, at some point you've got to say, oh, do I do this O-ring? Do I do those O-rings? Do I do these copper washers? Do I do... You know, it's probably as far back as I'll go, and just monitor the rest. There's been no stains. There's no stains down the block or anything that looks like coolant's coming out. No rusty stains, no coolant pools or anything like that to say that there's anything coming out. Not to say it's going to happen, but you know, you just at some point you can't just rebuild the whole thing, because you know it's just not cost effective. So hopefully it's an old mechanical object. Yeah, that's interesting. Screw wrapped up in a bit of tape. Interesting. Yeah, old mechanical object, and at some point something's going to happen to it. So, you know, just keep on to them. But that's as far as we're going to go with that, other than maybe that thermostat.